Okay guys, so I managed to get through a few of my chores today and I came back to the allotment. Everyone else has gone home, probably because we're going to get some rain, but I wanted to see if there's anything I could do before it starts to rain. I'm going to try and see if I can repair the shed base. I've got the timbers that I have sort of painted over. These ones here, which was given to me, giving them a couple of coats. Not the best stuff, but it will have to do for now. And I've got some pieces of off-cut plywood here, which I'm going to try and see if we can do a bit of a Lego rejig on our shed base, just to try and shore it up, make it a bit stronger if we can. That would be amazing, but I'm not holding my breath. If I can use them, I will. If not, we may have to revisit this after we've put the shed together, so we'll have to wait and see. So that's what we're going to be doing now, trying to put the shed base together, guys. Okay guys, so this is what we're working with. These are the pieces of battens that we're going to be putting under the bottom. Now I've got two things that I can do. I can either place them under there like this, which I'm thinking is probably the best thing to do, guys, to keep it flat, give it a wider surface area, more support, as opposed to standing them up like this. It would make my shed a bit taller, but it won't actually make any more room for the inside, so I might as well just keep them flat. And the idea is that I'm going to basically screw them and connect them this way first, just to keep them in place, and then from the top I can actually drive a screw down in. They are a bit higher than the old pieces of wood that was there, but that's not a big deal. These are going to be a lot thicker, last a lot longer than the other ones which were there. They've been all measured and cut, and so now all that's left is for me to fit them with some screws, and then the underside will be done. Really worried about this section of the shed though, because it is quite flimsy because it's been wet. The rigidity's gone, so I've got some plywood, bits and pieces of plywood in the back that I'm going to try and see if I can use to put as an overlay, a top section, and then we can see how we get on from there. Okay guys, so I've attached the pieces of timber, as you can see here, to the side of these older ones which have seen better days. I'm just going to be laying it flat on the slabs now, and from there we'll be able to try and put some screws going down from the top to the bottom, guys. That's the idea anyway, just to make sure that these blue pieces of timber is connected to the plywood, and then with any luck we might be able to use the old scrap pieces of plywood that we've got to put on top of it. So wish me luck. Okay, so here we are, guys, looking good so far. It does feel more stronger for sure, and the bits that actually has the timber underneath it do feel pretty strong. So here you can straight away feel where the timber is. There's one here as well, and there's one here, but in between, guys, I don't know if you can see that there's like a flex. And this is a little tip from me: whenever you're building a shed, if your shed base is terrible, do not build a shed because you'll soon regret it. So if I'm not able to use the scrap pieces of plywood that I've got, to basically put another layer on top, which will help to stop it flexing in these bits. Because you can imagine if it's flexing like this and the shed is fairly new, I say new, you can see the water damage, especially at the back, but even the parts that haven't been damaged, still a bit too flexible for my liking. So if we just had some a piece of ply this size, I mean, I don't want to go and buy a piece of plywood. That just, you know, defeats the point of trying to do as much of this for free and as cheaply as possible. But worst case scenario, if I have to, I'd rather do that rather than put the shed down, because I guarantee you the moment I start coming here with wet boots and, you know, putting tools which are going to be heavy and stuff, this is going to snap and you're going to absolutely hate it then. So a word to the wise: do it properly the first time. So the shed base is looking good, and as well as the concrete slabs. So let's see what we can do with this mess here. Okay guys, so this is what we're working with. Now these pieces of plywood, it's not the thickest. I think it's around maybe 10 mil, 11 mil, I don't know how thick it is exactly, but the idea is to basically use these are all offcuts that we've had over the years, whether it be a job that we had in our house. We had bits, especially when we were doing the downstairs, we had bits that were cut off. Now my foolish idea is to try and use them to overlay on top of this pre-existing piece that we've got here. Now if these don't work, I will try to find a piece of plywood online rather than trying to put this thing down without it. So the idea is to either use these, this for some reason seems to be bowing, typical. The idea is to basically use these pieces of plywood, screw them to the base, and I'm hoping that that would add some strength and certainly protect the sub floor base. Now the trick is to try and get all of these sort of level where we won't have any seams. Whether or not I'll be able to achieve that, again, only time will tell. Even if we got a little bit of seam here or there, we can maybe try and plane that down or something, I don't know. But it will be a lot better. I mean, stepping on this now, guys, straight away, it's literally feels so much stronger under my feet. And this is just a small piece. So if I had a full sheet, it would have been perfect. But if I can't find that online, and if these don't work, which looking at it now, I don't think I'll have enough, I may well have to try and buy a huge piece. But I was thinking, if I can do the outside, the perimeter where the shed frame is going to actually be, I could then always fill in the center afterwards. These are DIY projects, guys. They're not meant to be perfect. Part of growing your own food and having like an allotment means that's not straight at all, is it? Part of growing your own food and having an allotment basically means that you learn to do things differently and as cost effective as possible. This is how much wood we've currently got, with the exception of that little section there. So what I would probably do is just to cut those ones into a straight line. I've got my hand saw, so I'll do as best a cut as I can. Over there, that one's pretty long, so I can chop that piece off there. And the next stage will basically be to try and get some more pieces of timber to fill in on the inside. But I want to try and see if I can actually do a piece going across here and the back, so all the corners, so that way I can then put down my shed pieces on each of the four corners and build it, and then later on I can just try and cut some pieces of plywood and fit on the inside. But it definitely feels a lot more rigid, a lot stronger with these on there. I mean, they haven't even been screwed in yet, guys, but just walking on it, there's a lot less flex from this old plywood that feels like some form of chipboard more than anything. So yeah, I think I'm definitely going to give this a go, guys. So I'll check back later once I've got this all cut. Yep, so I've made the first cut, guys, which is looking really good, just with a hand saw. And that's going to be the first band at the front. Going to cut this long one off here, and then we'll try and fill in this section here as well, and then hopefully we'll be well on the way. Okay, guys, so we've done most of the frame. It's kind of like a letterbox or a photo frame, shall I say, where we've managed to cut the plywood and go all the way around, so I can now come and fit the sides of the shed. I think that's the more intelligent way of doing this, actually. I'm now down to my final few pieces of plywood. I've surprisingly enjoyed doing this, actually. It kind of reminds me of a bit of Lego back in the day, where you try and see which pieces fit best in what locations. Do you know what I mean? But I'm definitely going to need some extras. So I'll be on the lookout for some free pieces of plywood. Just need to make sure I measure this to know how thick it is, because it all has to be the same, or else you have lips where you're walking and you don't want to be tripping over anything. So I'm down to my final ones. I've just put some little nails, some little tack. I haven't driven them all the way in case I wanted to remove any of them. It's always a good idea to not drive your nails in fully. It will make it a lot easier to use your hammer and just to pop the heads out once, if you want to change things around. So I've put that wider piece down the bottom where we had the damaged area, so that it will spread out the weight a lot better. And I'm hoping that once I've driven some nails in, maybe a screw here or there, this will be a lot stronger, a lot sturdier than before. But yeah, our project is coming along nicely, guys. I'm really happy so far, and I'm going to crack on. And once I've used up all the pieces of timber, I'm just going to get my speed square. This has been a really good little tool when it comes to drawing straight lines. You can actually use it to find angles as well. I haven't figured out how to do that just yet, but certainly for drawing straighter lines, it's been really good. and so I'm just going to use this piece of plywood as a guide. I'm going to basically draw a line from this end, which is the shortest one. I'm going to go all the way across here, cut all three of them, get them down, and then we'll be able to put a piece of plywood going across that way. Well, once I get some more, that is. Guys, so I've just finished this first part of our shed base. As you can see, we've gotten the plywood down, and it's definitely a lot stronger. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad this idea came to me. Thank God for that, because like I said, this shed base isn't the strongest, so having these pieces of plywood help to spread that weight out a lot better. So hopefully we can then get some stuff that are fairly heavy placed in there. I'm still going to be sending some screws down, guys, once I start to put the shed together. So let's go and get the first piece and see how it looks, because I know that some of it is actually broken. So yeah, I'm not sure how much repair is going to be needed, but I definitely wanted to get it built so I can actually see what we're working with. So yeah, I can see quite a few pieces that have been ripped off. That will definitely need some more cladding. It's not a premium shed by any stretch of the imagination, but it was free, guys, so who am I to argue? So I think this is the back side, which should sit over there, because I'm planning on putting the door here, as it's a bit stronger. And this side, which is the weaker side, that will be getting less sort of foot traffic. Okay, I thought this was the back side, guys, but clearly it's not wide enough. So maybe this is going to be one of the sides, to which we'll then have sort of two pieces side by side, one with a window, for example, and one without. So let's just put this here for now, and then kind of see what we're working with. Guys, so this is the last piece of the frame, which is where the door is going to be. And look at our shed, guys, all rickety, battered, got pieces missing. By the way, that's not a window, that is where we've had, let's just say, somebody breaking in. There's another hole down there and another slat missing. I mean, overall, I can't complain, guys. This is free, and you know, we're trying to make a good go of it. And I'm just going to be putting this first bit in, which is the front, which also has some damage down the bottom. Okay, guys, so we're losing the light. It's after 4 in the evening, and I've managed to actually get the shed up. It is fairly strong. Well, as strong as it's going to be. The only problem is we've got all these holes for where obviously it's missing some pieces of wood, some pieces of the slat, which are going to need replacing. The roof is on. It took me some time to actually fix the roof, because it was falling apart in certain places. Had to cut some timber and reattach the support beams going across, like this one and the one at the top there as well. So yeah, looking really good. I've taken my time to make sure that it fit as well as I can. Now the only other thing that I'm going to try and do this evening quickly, Sophia's on her way over with the kids. The only other thing that I'm going to try and do is to put some felt on top. Now the felt that's down there, I don't know if it's leaking or not, but I'm going to temporarily put it on top, just to try and stop some of the water from the inevitable rain, which will be coming to this evening, to tomorrow, in fact for the whole week. So I'm going to try and see if I can put this felt on top. The only challenge is I don't actually have a ladder, so I don't know how I'm going to manage, and I don't actually have any of the little felt nails to actually get this on. So yeah, I'm going to figure something out just to get it on for the time being. I do have some felt at home. I'm hoping that it will be enough to go on here. So yeah, let me crack on, guys. Looking good. Okay, guys, so as you can see, it is officially nighttime, and I'm just finishing at the allotment, and I've managed to patch the shed. I mean, literally just to try and keep as much of the water out of it as possible. I've done the felt on top of the roof. This is the old felt, full of holes, so I will need to replace that. There's a few holes here or there that I haven't yet patched. This side is looking good, and I'm hoping that the wind won't blow off this felt by the time I'm back. I'm not sure if I'll be back tomorrow, but if not, let's just hope that this will stay put. And around the front, the door, I mean, the door doesn't even seem to fit. So I'm not even sure if this was the actual door for it, but I've sort of screwed the door on without hinges, just again to try and keep the water out. I've battened it up as best as I can. And yeah, that's it guys, another day done. Oh, looking good guys. We kind of got a shed on our plot. Not much going on apart from the grass that's covered, but pretty soon we'll have our shed up and running so we can actually have some storage here. I'm so happy guys with how things are turning out so far. Anyway, let me head home and I'll see you guys in the next video, where I'll be carrying on this shed probably, because I need to get it completed, watertight, and then we can relax a little bit. Anyway, take care, goodbye, and God bless, and we'll see you in the morning.